When the iPhone 12 Pro Max first came out, I was really excited to pick it up for myself because I had been using my iPhone 7 Plus as my secondary camera for this channel. My primary camera is a Canon EOS 80D, and it's the camera that I've been using for a long time. So having the secondary camera is important for me to get some of the shots that you see on this channel. So when the iPhone 12 Pro Max came out, I knew I wanted to pick one up for myself, so I went out and I got it on the day that it was released. After I picked it up, the other thing that I always do, because I'm one of those people who love to protect my phones, is that I went out and I purchased a case and I purchased a screen protector. I don't know why I always go over the top when I buy a case, but I always want to know that my phone is being protected. I haven't dropped my phone or broke one ever since I got into using smartphones, but I know that in the future I will drop my phone and something will happen. So I ended up buying this case here from a company called Mous. It's spelled M-O-U-S, and I really liked the way that the case looked because it had this really nice veneer on the back. So for today's video, I'm going to show you how I would engrave a graphic on the back of this case so that this wood is personalized to me. So let's get started. Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Mous Studio, and today we're going to be engraving the back of my iPhone 12 Pro Max's case from a company called Mous. Now, if you're interested in seeing the back of an iPad Pro get engraved, you can check out a video that I shared earlier here on my channel where I engraved a mandala that I drew myself onto the back of my iPad Pro directly. For today's project, we're going to be engraving the back of this case from Mous that I was showing you earlier. I wanted to engrave something so that it would be personal to me. So with that, I decided to use the same graphic from the video that I shared earlier on my channel here, where my friend Melissa from Crafty helped me design a motivational wall art that I actually have behind me here on my wall. I'm going to take that graphic and pick some of the words that I really think are strong and would relate to what I personally believe in and engrave it onto the back of my phone. I'd love to use the entire graphic, but because of the size of my case, I wanted it to be big and bold, so I'm going to choose the right words and phrases that I want to engrave. Now with that, let's jump right into the graphic design of this project, and then I'll also show you how I would set up my Glowforge interface, which is the laser cutter company that I use for laser cutting and engraving all of my projects. Everything that I'm talking about here is going to be linked in the description section below of this video, so make sure you check out the description section if you're interested in seeing any of the products that I'm talking about today. Now let's jump into the design of this project. Here's the custom graphic that my friend Melissa from Crafty helped me come up with for the original custom motivational wall art project that I had. When I opened up the file and I read through the 3 phrases that I came up with and that she helped me design, I really loved the way that the top and the bottom phrases came out. Let me explain. The top phrase, design for the love of it, the middle phrase, make for the challenge in it, and the bottom phrase, share for the joy of it, all sound great. But when I abstract these by taking out the infill words, for the, in it, and of it, it ends up reading as design love, make challenge, share joy. The top one, design love, is abstracted, but it sounds really good when you read it out loud. It actually makes you think. The bottom one does the same thing, share joy. The middle one here, make challenge, just doesn't sound grammatically correct, and it also doesn't make you think about anything other than how you would make that sentence appropriate. So for that reason, I really wanted to just take the bolded words that you're seeing here and turn that into the graphic that would go on the back of my iPhone 12 Pro Max's case. Because the back of my case is pretty small, so I wanted to take this abstraction and use that as my graphic. Once I did that, it looks just like this. I really like the way that it looks because design love and share joy are proportionally great in the way that they would fit on my phone and the way that they're proportional to one another. I like that design and share is a little bit smaller, but love and joy is bigger. It really brings out the essence of those 2 phrases that I strongly believe in. So the next step that I'm going to jump into next is going to be bringing this graphic into my Glowforge interface, where I could then input all of my custom settings, including the thickness of my iPhone 12 Pro Max's case, which I'll take with a digital caliper. So here's my Glowforge interface where I've already imported the graphic for Design Love and Share Joy. It's currently showing in gray in the center of my interface here, and now that I've highlighted it, you can see it a little bit better in this cyan color. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go up here to my material settings and actually use an uncertified material because it's not part of Glowforge's proof grade materials here. But before I do that, the first thing I want to do is I want to type in veneer because I know that I have a walnut veneer on the back of my case, and by selecting this option here, I can select engrave as the option, and then what I could do from there is actually come into this setting, click this arrow, and see what the original settings are as recommended by Glowforge. You can see that the speed is 1000 and that the precision is 71. The lines per inch is 270, and the focus height is wrong because that focus height is for a really thin veneer. What I actually need to do is go up here, click on uncertified material, and type in 0.475, which is what my digital calipers were able to measure with my iPhone case and the veneer applied on the back. Once I submit that, I now have to go in here and set up that custom engrave setting, which was 1000 for the speed and 71 for the precision and power, and 270 for the lines per inch. Now once I set this up, the next step is to load up my Glowforge laser cutter, turn it on, which is a little bit loud because of the fans to extract all of the fumes and gases and smoke and all of that. So I haven't turned it on yet, but once I turn it on, you'll see it appear in the background of this interface. And then what I'll do is I'll resize this to fit exactly within the back of my iPhone 12 Pro Max's case so that it doesn't go beyond the edges, and then I'll click start so that I can start this process. So that's the graphic that I'm going to be engraving onto the back of my iPhone 12 Pro Max's case from Mous. Before I put that case into my Glowforge laser cutter, I'm actually going to take the case and I'm going to take some blue painter's tape and apply the blue painter's tape on the entire backside of this case to protect it from any dirt, debris, soot, and any adhesive that'll actually get onto the surface here without the blue painter's tape. The blue painter's tape just adds that protective layer that'll help me keep everything clean so that when the project is done, I can just quickly peel it off and have a really clean project. So now, let's jump into that step where I'll apply this blue painter's tape and then I'll put it into my Glowforge laser cutter and show you how it looks when it's getting engraved. And then make sure you stick around to the end of this video where you get to see how the final project turned out. So that's how I engraved this custom graphic onto the back of my iPhone 12 Pro Max's case from Mous using my Glowforge laser cutter. The one thing that I didn't expect that I thought came out really cool is the fact that the engraving didn't come out in a burned black color. It actually took off the surface layer of the wood veneer, and it also took it down a little bit into the grain of the wood so that you can actually see the natural wood colors. That's why in one of the steps after I removed the blue painter's tape, you can actually see me take some Odie's oil, get it into all of the engravings, let it soak in, and then I wiped it off after it had some time to soak into the actual wood. Overall, I think this project came out really great. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and remember to support this channel by liking this video and subscribing for more like it. I'll see you guys next time.